Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here with Purple Luffy versus Doflamingo. Playing my buddy Alfred here, and this game, I took this game a while ago and it was just a long, grueling game. So I didn't want to post it, but I'm gonna post it now because, you know, the Doflamingo matchup, it is tough. And actually because of this matchup, I decided to up my list to 3 9 moms because 9 mom is so needed in this matchup. So yeah, just wanted to go over this game. So we drop our searcher and then he goes ahead and drops Buggy, looking at the top 3, getting that sorting on, and that's man, that's tough. I never want Doflamingo to be able to sort through the top of his deck, but he has so many tools to do that now. So we go to 3 Dawn. It doesn't look like we really have a 4 Dawn play. And I think that I potentially might have played this game a little too skittish. So I go ahead and I search again, and I am thinking about getting the Nami blocker, which is kind of interesting. I go ahead and get the 2K. That's okay. I think I would have rather... So as I mentioned, this game's a little bit older. So my list is a little different, and I think this is the first time I played into Doflamingo. So we will go ahead and swing 6, and what am I doing? Oh, I think I'm going to drop the Robin blocker with the 2 Dawn, so really playing reserved. Thankfully, I still ramped. I think it's really important in Purple Luffy to ramp as fast as you can. And yeah, so he ends up giving me 2K there, 2 Jozus. Fine with me, and I'm going to go ahead and drop Robin and pass. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the start of this game, and I'm also not the biggest fan of the terrible glare on the cards there. But we have 2 Law Searchers and the Nico Robin blocker. I really like that Robin blocker. I think it's a good little body to block with. And speaking of blockers, 4 Dawn for the Boa Hancock to sort the top 3. Giving him a little peek into what's happening, and he will swing 6 at lean, and I have plenty of 2Ks in my hand. I think, I just give him the Sanji. I think that I'm like 90% sure that Usohachi can rest any blocker that he plays, since Doflamingo is mostly playing 4 costs or less. But with the Dawn that I am at, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ramp. I like that play. And then I think we are going to... I don't think I have a Luffy Taro, but we do have the Eustace Kid, which is a pretty decent option. And then we'll swing 7 into life, trying to get that Boa, but he ends up taking. So, yeah, I don't know if you can hear Vi, but she does not like that. But we go ahead and pass turn. Oh, man. And our hand is looking kind of tough. No Luffy Taros, no bigger bodies. Yeah, and then he goes ahead and plays the Weevil, which is definitely that's a scary body because it is 6K. Thankfully, it's a great 9 mom target. If I see 9 mom, it is great to be able to put that into life. So I go ahead and block the 7 with the Nico Robin, trying to keep the Eustace Kid on field just so I can start minusing my Dawn and getting that benefit. And he actually goes ahead and swings the Boa, swinging 6, and I go ahead and block 1K, figuring it's his last turn, and we get another Sanji. Man, I'd really like to see some bigger bodies. We are at 9 Dawn now, so man, if we saw 9 Mom, it would be great, but I think at this point, I'm only running 2 in my list, and go ahead and drop my card, but my buddy wasn't looking. And he goes ahead and puts his deck face up. We are just having a good time, man. We are, yeah. So, yeah, my hand is not looking good. I don't really know what I want to do here. I think I'm probably going to poke pretty aggressively with Luffy and then drop another blocker in the Sanji. Yeah, I go ahead and swing into Boa and then tap 6 for the Sanji blocker. One thing that I learned recently, which I think I try so hard to remember, is if I think it's 2 or less Dawn under my opponent, I can actually play Sanji off of Luffy Taro. So that is pretty cool. That is, yeah, something cool. So he's actually gonna Gravity Blade my 2 blockers, which just honestly ruins my life a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we have a ton of 2K. Our hand is all 2Ks. I give him the Sanji for the 1, and I'm actually gonna take this one. We get another Eustace Kid, and he goes ahead dropping Perona to search the top, or sort through the top 5. So decent turn for him, and yeah, man, my hand is tough. No Luffy Taro, no bodies to really swing aggressively. I mean, I have the option to Dawn up on Law, but that's not a good option. I don't like that option one bit. So yeah, 10 Dawn, no big bodies, no Luffy Taros. Wow, this is a really... As I mentioned, this game was a while ago, so I have clearly blocked it out of my head. I just know that it was a long slugfest. So 5 Dawn, I'm thinking the Zoro and the Eustace Kid is probably the play. But we'll see. That's what I'm thinking. The way I sorted my Dawn is with Zoro, or excuse me, with Sangoro. God, I don't know why I always do that. With Sangoro, I can at least continually get the draw. And yeah, so I just go ahead and pass, not even swinging into life. I don't really want to give him an extra card at all. Just kind of, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I couldn't ramp fast and get him, so I need to, my bodies are bigger than his. I need to play it slow, play it carefully, and just see what I can do, which is, it doesn't feel good to do that on Luffy. I promise you. I was feeling pretty unhopeful about this game. Another Weevil comes down though, which is definitely a pain. Getting him more cards in hand, and then tapping 2 for the Teach. Teach is going to be able to really get my opponent online there, which is definitely unfortunate. Teach ability, he's going to go ahead, put something up top. Attached to Rested Dawn. I think this is like his 2nd or 3rd. I think at this point he was relatively new to Doflamingo, but yeah, he's not so new to Doflamingo anymore. As I mentioned, this was forever ago, I feel like. So yeah, he's just trying to figure out how exactly he wants to sort his Dawn, and he's gonna go ahead, tap 2 to play Perfume Fever, give himself a boost. And just, at this point, I was pretty sure I was going to take this hit anyway. But as soon as the Perfume Femur came down, I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to take this hit. Because at this point, I want to keep Kid on the field just in case I get a blocker, or, excuse me, anything to minus Dawn, and so I can get that Dawn back. But he goes ahead, plays out the Gecko. And yeah, we go ahead and take, and it's a Nami, which is not terrible. Definitely going to be able to give us something if I decide to play it, but I might just use it as counter here because the 7k swing is pretty annoying. And I don't really feel like blocking it. Oh, okay, I am going to block 2k, which I guess that makes sense because it is his last swing, and we do get the Zoro, so we're going to be able to search something and get a decent sized body on board. But, I mean, the Sangoro being there and being able to draw for us another Zoro. So we swing 6, he goes ahead and counters out with the Gecko. And I think my play is to potentially drop 4 for Nami and 4 for Zoro. Just to try and find maybe a Luffy Taro at this point to cheat out my other Zoro, potentially. But who knows? Who knows? I feel like at this point I was less good, which I'm still not good. But hey, we get a Gum Gum. You love to see it. Trashing one of our Zoros there. So yeah, I go ahead and put the 1 Dawn aside and just trying to think what I want to do with the rest. Going ahead, swinging 6 at Weevil, and we get Weevil. That's great. That's wonderful. We love that. Tapping 4, replacing a Law with another Zoro. Looking at the top 5, we do see another Gum Gum, but I feel if we see 2 Gum-Gums, that is unfortunate. But I'm going to grab the Usohachi. I think probably grabbing the Sanji would have been better. I think I'm really skittish. I don't I feel like watching this back, I'm not being as aggressive as Purple Luffy like should be and needs to be to really thrive, but I'm just like playing it safe, and I think that's why this game ends up being so long, is I'm just like really skittish, like hiding behind my blockers. And granted, I don't have a big body. I don't have like 9 Mom or 9 Luffy or even 7 cost Sanji, and I think another thing is I should have grabbed Sanji, but I think at this point I was forgetting that Sanji can rest characters, and Sanji will rest anything on his board at this point. So he goes ahead and bounces Perona back to his hand, bouncing my Nami, I think, back to my hand. And I think he's torn because he wants to bounce one of my blockers, but he doesn't want to give me counter, so he's torn between the Zoro, which is the second card on the board that is just, you can't see because of the glare, and the Nami, but he gives me the Nami, which is fine. I got the benefit from Nami, and now I have a 1k in my hand. It's fine in that way. Like, I would rather have Nami on board to soak up a hit, but at least I can still use Nami, and I do have the Gum-Gum to hopefully draw one of my bigger bodies. So he's gonna go ahead and sort out his Dawn. At this point, I'm definitely nervous. I have plenty of counter on hand, thankfully, and because most of his bodies are around that 6k, I'm feeling a little okay. But he's gonna go ahead and teach ability, place something on top of his deck to cheat out with the Doflamingo. Adding another Dawn, swinging 9, I think. 8, excuse me, 8. I can't count. So I go ahead and give him 2Ks, just trying to stay alive this turn. I know he has a couple more swings coming, and yeah, I think I could have just swung the or I could have played Gum-Gum, but I go ahead and 6 block the 5 with the Eustace Kid, and with this 6 I am going to Gum-Gum Giant. Do I not trash cards? I don't trash cards there. That I should have trashed something. I probably would have trashed the Kid. But yeah, that was a mistake. I think at this point it was a while ago. But yeah, that's a mistake. But we do get 2 bricks. So I don't know. Yeah, so this is my older list, you can see, because I just drew into Frenosuke. Thinking about adding him back. I know I've mentioned it a couple times at this point, and probably every Purple Luffy video I've posted, which is a lot. I am absolutely loving playing Purple Luffy. I do have a couple buggy games coming up, because I know you guys have asked for buggy, but as I mentioned, I'm just trying to get some videos up so I don't have to worry about it while my mom is visiting. And hey, look at that. There is a 9 Mom. Perfect. So yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna swing it, try and clear some bodies. 6 into Weevil, and we are gonna get a 1k, which is fine by me. I'll go 5 into Gecko. 1 card in his hand, just kind of doing my best to take care of his board, and we play our first 9 Mom minusing. Get it back with Eustace Kid, trashing the Luffy Taro, and I'm gonna put Weevil at the bottom of his life. I really like putting Weevil at the bottom of their life because I know that is a brick. That is no counter. If I'm going for game and you get that, that is 1 less counter I have to think about. So, really, I try and put counterless cards in the bottom of their life. It's not always possible, but, you know, we gotta try when we can. But, yeah, our hand is looking okay, and now that we have 2 life, and, yeah, now they play another boa, though, which kind of stinks. That's going to give them an easy something to teach into, I believe. Assuming they don't teach. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to teach ability. I don't think they need to at this point. But they go ahead, add the Rusted Dawn onto Dofi. And yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and swing into the Jinbei, into the Mihawk, just flooding their board as aggressively as they can. But thankfully for me, I go ahead and take, and we get another 9 mom. That is pretty good. And so he's trying to think about what he wants to swing into, and he's actually going to attach some Dawn onto Teach and swing into Zoro there, or Sanji, excuse me, God. And I give him the 1k just to get out of it. I want to keep him alive, and we do have 9 mom again. So ideally, we got some big bodies. We're going to start being able to play these big bodies, heal us, and start swinging really aggressively into board. So we swing 6, and we draw. Luffy Taro is... we could Luffy Taro it this turn. I don't think it's a terrible option. Yeah. But it's also... he's got a pretty scary board, so I don't hate the idea of Big Mom here. So kind of just depends. We got the Zoro right there. Zoro, we're going to swing Zoro into Teach, or into life, giving him a card there. Swing 5 into Teach, I'm thinking, potentially. We're going to think about this. Is it, do I want to swing into Teach? Do I want to play Luffy Taro? We are going to, it looks like we're going to drop Big Mom. We will drop 9 mom. We'll put Boa at the bottom. I can't remember right now if Boa has a counter. And I go ahead and trash the Zoro and heal up one more time. Leader, minus Dawn, get it back. A little sloppy with my steps, but we're doing it. One less blocker in their hand. So I end up going 7 into Teach, just trying to clear board. And yep, 9 into life. Gonna take a little bit of life there, and I think we're gonna go ahead and pass turn. And there I am. I swear, when I rest my characters, they all have to be rested the same way, or I get so grumpy. But we've done a pretty good job of whittling his hand size, and yeah, just honestly, with the 9 moms just staying afloat, I feel like that's, we were just staying afloat until we saw our 9 moms, which we have 2 on the board. One of them is the first card on the field, followed by a Zoro, Juro, and a San Goro, and another 9 mom. So glare is real here. So with a really small hand, my opponent is taking some time to figure out what exactly he wants to do. I'm hoping we've seen the last of his boas, because it is pretty rough, and he is going to actually perfume Femur to swing into lead pretty aggressively. And yeah, so he's going to swing. I will go ahead and take, and we get another Eustace Kid. I don't hate that at all, really. Yeah, I don't think that... I think that even without the perfume Femur, there's a good chance I would have taken. Just because I feel like I watched a video when I was trying to learn how to play the game about life being a resource, and I feel like that is very true for the Luffy deck. Life is like a second hand almost, especially with the addition of 9 mom. I feel like just getting those cards it's pretty solid. So I don't know, but he's gonna go ahead and swing. I think that's 9 or 10. Might be 9 here, and I'm gonna give him a 2k, and a 2 1ks. Okay. I'm thinking that I want to keep Kid up, and I want to keep the Usohachi so I can rest Boa Blocker. I think that's why I did what I did there. But we are going to go ahead and just get the swing with Sanji there, drawing another card. And yeah, so this list, I'm still rounding my Bond Clays. Hopefully the list will be in the description. I like this list just fine, but I wanted to try some different lists. I feel like there's a couple different ways to play here. So we are going to go ahead, and with his small hand size, we rest the Boa, and we are going to go for game, I think. It sure looks like we're going to go for game. Going 7 into life here. And we get 1. This is kind of scary, actually. We'll go 8 with the Zoro, adding 2 Dawn to the 6k body there. Seeing if he can counter. We know he has at least 1 brick. I can't remember if Boa is a brick. I feel like she is. Um, so adding another there, and just trying to decide how I want to swing. I think 9. Do I go 9 into boa? I think I chicken out here, actually. Yeah, and I'm moving my board. Yep, so 9 into boa. Which, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. And I go ahead and pass. That is interesting. I think I probably could have gotten game there. I guess it really depends on what he got out of life. But I think I was going for game and chickened out. So he ends up playing another boa. And I'm like, oh man, I thought that was... that's tough. Because with the Usohachi, that was my last Usohachi. So thankfully, I'm thinking at this point, I am going to be okay to live this turn. But then he gets the Jinbei off of the top, and I'm like, oh, remember when he had a clear board? I do too. I think he's gonna bounce Law back to his hand, and potentially bounce one of my bodies back. He bounces Zoro, which is a brick, so decent choice there. Yeah, I feel like that last turn, I totally fumbled. But... yeah, so I think at this point I want to keep Eustace Kid alive so I can swing with him. I need as many bodies on the field as I can get. And then, yeah, I think with the remaining Dawn, he goes ahead and passes. We get the Bond Clay. Potentially. I think he may not be done. Okay, he is done now. So we go ahead and grab Bond Clay again. And with our Dawn here, we have to... now we have to get through 2 life and a blocker. With 4 bodies, I think it's a good option, but I think I am playing a little... I feel like I played this game way too, like, reserved. I feel like the benefit of Luffy is just, you know, explosions, you know? So it looks like I'm going to swing 6 into life here, potentially. Yep, still just deciding what I want to do, how I want to do it. As I mentioned, I think going for lethal is my weakest point, or my weakest ability, I guess. But we get the 2k out of hand with the Usohachi, and that is tough, because I know he has the 2k Law in his hand. So, in that blocker, like, getting the Usohachi, or not going for lethal, really kind of stunk there. So the question is now, do I continue to go for lethal? I know he's got a 2k, or do I just try and get Jinbei off the board? I don't really have a play. I'm thinking I'm probably going to drop Nami, but we'll go 6 into potentially life. Gives me 2k. Oh, is he a 1k? Never mind, gives me some there. And... I have not played a lot of Dofis. Let's the Jinbei go. I've just been lucky enough to dodge the blue Dofi matchup for the most part. And yeah, I'm trying to decide. I'm going to set 4 to the side because I want to play Nami. I swing at life. He is thinking about getting Weevil. Yep, takes the Weevil. I think that's a decent play. And we'll tap 4 for the Nami, trashing the Zoro and drawing into 2 new cards. The not much. So a little concerned depending on how this goes. I do have 2 blockers, thankfully. If I didn't, I think that he would have a very good chance of just splitting Dawn and going for game. But if he doesn't have something to get rid of a blocker, I think we're okay. But he goes ahead, Jinbei's into Weevil, drawing a card there. And, yeah, I'm definitely nervous at this point, thinking, okay, he's got 2 swings, I've got 2 blockers, but, you know, what can I do? Can I get through? I think I can get through. If I can keep my 9 moms alive, I think I can get through. But then he plays down another boa blocker, and I'm like, oh god, like, this is awful. I swear he's seen so many boa blockers, which seems very dofy, honestly, and he just decides to fold. We're both very tired, last game of the tournament, and he's like, nah, I'm done. So Yeah, pretty lucky there. I think, I don't know if I played it as aggressively as I should have, but we are able to sneak away with a W. So that is gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. Helps me out more than you can ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.